Woohoo! Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about 6.1, number 6, the certificate of deposit problem from the book, from the homework. So, the way this one goes, Bill Kasler bought a $1,000 9-month certificate of deposit from the bank that would earn 8% annual simple interest. Woohoo! As soon as it says simple interest, yay! We know we are in simple interest land, and here's simple interest. And so how do we know this is simple interest? Well, if you're in 6.1, this is the only formula you know. But if you've moved on beyond it, you'll recognize that simple interest has future value, it has principal or present value, it has the interest rate and the time, but you'll notice that there's no exponents. When we're talking about compound interest, that will have exponents. So simple interest is the kind that's just straight up multiplication. So it's the easiest of the formulas, or simplest. Okay, so we got simple interest, and it says 3 months before the CD was due to mature, Bill needed his money. And so this is one thing that is slightly difficult about CDs. They offer you better rates frequently than a savings account or a checking account or a money market account. And that's because you can't get your money out. If you try to get your money out, they charge you a big fee. And sometimes actually you end up with less money than when you started. So Bill did not want to go to the bank and ask for his money back, but a friend, agreed to lend him money and receive the value of the CD when it matured. So in other words, instead of taking the money out of the bank, he had a friend effectively buy the CD from him. So this problem comes in two parts, which is nice. The book breaks it down, or WebAssign breaks it down into two pieces. And the very first part is it says, what is the value of the CD when it matures? And so we say a CD matures when you've gotten to the end of the original time period. So that's 9 months. So this is a little tricksy because interest rates are based on years, not on months. So we're going to have to do a little bit of fractional work here. We're going to use our formula, again, the simple interest formula, and we're going to look at the information we have. So far we know it's a $1,000 certificate of deposit. So that tells us what the initial value is. We do not know the future value. That's what we're trying to calculate. We know that the interest rate is 8%, which we're going to write as 0.08. We have to write it as a decimal because we can't do math usually with percentages. So we got to write them as the decimal. And then the other exciting part of this is our T. Our time is 9 months. So what you have to know is normally the interest rate, right here it says annual simple interest, it's based on years. So we have to convert 9 months to a year. That would be 9/12 of a year. You could also look at it as 0.75 if you like. You could convert it to the decimal. So I'm going to use my formula. And again, this is this beautiful simple interest formula right there. My future value is equal to my present value times the quantity 1 plus RT. So that's going to be 1,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0.08 times 9/12. And again, you could go ahead and use 0.75 there. If this were not as nice, right? This is 3/4. If this were not a nice fraction, you should not try to write it as a decimal. Just leave it as a fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my handy dandy calculator. And here, let me make sure I clear it completely. I'm going to enter this exactly as it's written. So 1,000 times the quantity. Now, some calculators do not require multiplication. If you put the parenthesis in, it will automatically give you multiplication, but I'm just going to be careful. 1 plus, now here I'm going to enter this as 0.08, and then I'm going to do times and then 9 divided by 12. I'm just going to I'm putting extra care to make sure that the calculator doesn't get confused. Different calculators will require a different order of steps. So if you try this and this does not come out on your calculator, then you probably want to talk to a tutor or talk to me. We'll figure out what your calculator needs to be told so it understands what you'd like to do. And fingers crossed, let's hit enter, and I get 1,060. Woohoo! And that is the correct amount. So this is how much the CD is worth at maturity. So in other words, this is $60 in interest. Yay! Okay, so that's the first part. And the first part is pretty straightforward. It's the second part where I think a lot of people get a little bit caught up in the details. So let's look at what the heck is going on. And so it says, if their agreement allowed the friend to earn 10% annual simple interest return on his loan to Bill, how much did Bill receive from his friend? Now, this gets a little bit complicated. So let me try to write out what we're going to do. So the friend gives Bill an amount of money now. And then remember that this is, you can't see that, so let me pull it down. 3 months before the CD was due to mature. So this is well into the life of the CD. So we're going to go 3 months. And the friend is going to get the future value, which is 1060. Because remember, the bank doesn't know anything about the friend, doesn't really know much about Bill. I mean, they only know that you gave them $1,000, and they're very thankful for that. And that at the end of 9 months, they're going to give you the 1,060 in return. But the friend is only loaning money for 3 months. So, and wants to get a 10% annual simple interest return. So he wants to earn 10% over these 3 months. And so the part that's confusing about this second part is it's easy to get caught up with all of these details. But these details aren't what's important. What's important is we want to know how much the friend is going to give him. So what's P? So that at the end, the friend gets 1,060. And that means that's a 10% rate of return, simple interest. So again, I'm going to bring in the formula for simple interest, which is, and I'm going to use the format that looks like this, S equals P times the quantity 1 plus RT. And then I'm going to plug in the information I know. So this time I don't know P, I know S. Because I know the end result is the total value of the CD, which is 1,060. P, I don't know, so I'm going to leave it as a variable. 1 plus interest rate. Now the interest rate has gone up. The friend's like, make it worth my while. I want to earn 10%, not just 8%. And Bill is pretty desperate for this money. I don't know what he needs it for, but something came up and he needs the money. So he's like, fine, I will give you a 10% interest rate. And then, maybe reevaluate the friendship later on. We don't know why Bill needs the money, but his friend seems to be taking advantage of the situation. Anyway, T in this case is 3 months. So our time is 3 out of 12. In the same way that 9 months was 9/12 of a year, 3 months is 3/12 of a year. So take a look at that. So, and this is going to be 1/4, or the fraction 3/12. Now here, it's going to be a little bit complicated because I have to solve for P. But the good news is it turns out that this resolves really nicely. So if we calculate just inside here, we get 1 plus 0.10 times, and again, I'll use the parenthesis to go ahead and include the fraction, 3 divided by 12. If you have a fraction key on your calculator, you could use that as well. And then I hit enter, and I get 1.025. So I've got 1060 equals P times 1.025. And then to solve for P, I divide both sides by 1.025. So 0.025, 1.025, and then I get 1060 all over 1.025 is the principal that we're interested in. And just in case you're curious, what is 0.025? That's the interest rate. So 2.5% is what the friend will be earning over those 3 months, not per year total. It's 10% per year, but only a quarter of a year. So you earn 2.5%. Let me go ahead and clear this. 1060 divided by 1.025 is, and then it gets ugly. So P equals 1034.1463, some other stuff. We're told to round to the nearest cent. And so P is approximately 1,034.15. So let's think about what this means. So in other words, what this means is that Bill originally invested $1,000, was expecting to get $60 in interest, and then needed the money early. So the friend gave him 1,034.15. So Bill only earned $34.15. And then the friend earned the rest of the interest. So Bill earned 34.15, and the friend, and then so we'll have to figure out what the rest of it is. So the friend paid Bill the money and then got the remainder of the $60. So 34.15. So the friend earned $25.85 in interest. And as far as the bank was concerned, it paid out $60 total. So Bill earned that much, the friend earned this much, and the answer that WebAssign wants is this one. That's how much the friend paid Bill. Hopefully Bill could afford to pay for whatever it was that came up. Hopefully the friend appreciates this and appreciates Bill's friendship more in the future. I don't know. The book does not tell us how they get on many years later. I have a feeling there may be a little bit of resentment, but maybe everybody was happy with the outcome. Everybody got a little interest. The bank's happy. Everybody's happy. And it's a happy ending. So woohoo. Math on, guys. Math on.